Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Concept Learning. In the previous video, we learned about indefinite articles ye and an. Now we are going to learn about the definite article the. There are many rules regarding the uses of the article. Rule 1 is before the words that are repeated after they have introduced once. That means we use the article before repeated words. For example, he gave me a book. The book was lost. Here if you observe, book is repeated. As it is repeated, we use the article before the word book. Okay, now the rule 2. Rule 2 is to denote a particular person, place or thing. Place or thing. For example, a boy was given a prize, and a boy who stood first in the class was given a prize. If you observe these two sentences, in the first sentence, we don't know who the boy is. But in the second sentence, we know the boy. Here the boy is the one who stood first in the class. Okay, here we are particular about who the boy is. So we use the article in place of a over here. Okay. Now rule 3. Rule 3 is before the adjectives in superlative degree. Before the adjectives in superlative degree. As we all know that adjectives can be written in 3 forms. That is positive degree, comparative degree and at the same time superlative degree. Before the adjectives in superlative degree, we use the article. For example, India is one of the hottest countries in the world. Here if you observe, the hottest is the adjective in superlative form, right? Therefore, we use the article before this adjective. Okay, now the rule 4. Rule 4 is before the adjectives in comparative degree, whenever there is a comparison between two nouns. That means two persons, places or things. For example, Hema is the more intelligent of two sisters. Here if you observe, comparison is made between two sisters, okay? There are two sisters. And this is more intelligent. It is the comparative form of the adjective intelligent. Therefore, we use the article before the adjective in comparative form. Okay. We use the article before singular countable nouns. Okay. To pick up an individual or object to represent a whole class. For example, the tiger is a ferocious animal. If you observe over here, the tiger means it does not refer a single tiger. It means the whole class of tigers. And at the same time, let us see another example that the cow is a useful animal. Here also, the term the cow does not refer to a single cow, but it refers to a whole class of cows. Here to represent whole class, there are 3 ways. That is, the cow is a useful animal and a cow is a useful animal, and again cows are useful animals. The meaning of all these three sentences is same. In all these cases, the curve, a curve and cows, it represents all class of cows. The article before adjectives to give plural meaning. For example, the rich should help the poor. In this sentence, the rich refers to rich people, okay? And again, the poor refers to the poor people. And if you see some other examples like the old means old people. And the unemployed means unemployed people. And again, the French means they are French people, like this. And again, the blind means blind people. Here if we use the article before the adjectives, they give a plural meaning. Okay. Now, the rule 7. Rule 7 is to denote an abstract quality. To denote an abstract quality, we use the article. For example, he loves the pure, the good and the beautiful. Here, the words like pure, good and beautiful are adjectives. Right? As we place the article before those adjectives, they function as abstract nouns. That means here the pure, it gives the meaning purity. And the good means it gives the meaning goodness. And the beautiful means beauty in general. Therefore, to convert the adjectives into abstract nouns, we can use the article before those words. Okay. Now, rule 8. Rule 8 is before the collective nouns. Collective nouns means a group of people, person, places or things. Okay. Right. For example, the navy, the crowd and the mob, the pride. Like there are many collective nouns. Before those collective nouns, we can use the article. And again, rule 9. Before the musical instruments. Before the musical instruments, we use the article. For example, he plays the guitar well. Here, guitar is a musical instrument, so we use the article before the word guitar. And the piano, like this we use. Rule 10. Rule 10 is we use the article before the names of countries ending with CH and SH. For example, the Dutch and the Spanish. Here if you observe, these are the names of the countries and they end with a CH and SH. So we use the article before those words. And again, rule 11. Rule 11 is in place of the possessive adjective before the names of the body parts. For example, I struck him on his head. Here, head is body part. Before the body part, we place possessive adjective. If we use like this, it's not correct. Okay, in place of this possessive adjective, we have to place the article. That means we have to modify the sentence and write as I struck him on the head. This is the correct. Okay, now rule 12. Rule 12 is before the names of the newspapers. before the names of newspapers, we use the article. That is, for example, the Hindu, and at the same time the Deccan Chronicle and the Times of India, like this. And rule 13 is before the word same, we use the article, and after the words all, both and half, we use the article. For example, this is the same building where he lived. If you observe this sentence once, before the word same, we use the article. And if we look into some another examples, all the members of this colony are rich. Here, after the all, we use the article. And again, the third thing is both the persons are poor. Here, after the both, we use the article. And fourth is half. Half the mangoes are red. If you observe these four sentences, before the word same, we have to use the article, and after the words all, both and half, we have to use the article. This is rule 13. And rule 14 is before the names of the sacred books, we use the article. Sacred books means we know, like for example, like the Bible and the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. If you observe, these are the sacred books. Therefore, we use the article before those words. And again, we have to make a note in rule 14. That is, in case if the title of the book is the name of the author, then we should not use the article before that book. For example, Valmiki's Ramayana. Ramayana is a great book. Basically, we use the article before this book, the Ramayana. But here, Valmiki's Ramayana means here Valmiki is the author of the book Ramayana, and it is written in possessive case, so we should not use the article here. If it's not apt to use the article in this case, just we simply write Valmiki's Ramayana. That's it. And another example is Julius Caesar. It is the name of the author and name of the book itself. So we should simply write Julius Caesar. We should not write the Julius Caesar like this. Okay. Now again, rule 15. Rule 15 is before the names of the body parts. Before the names of body parts, we use the article. That is, for example, like the head, the hand, like this. And again, rule 16 is before the names of historical events. Historical events. For example, the Sipai Mutiny of 1857. As we all know that 1857 revolt is the first independent movement, and it is the great historical event in India. So we use the article before this Sipai Mutiny. Okay. And again, the Quit India movement. And we also know about the Quit India movement, and it was launched by Mahatma Gandhi in 1942, and it was also one of the great historical events. So we use the article here. And again, rule 17 is rule 17 is before the names of monuments and important buildings. Okay. For example, the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is one of the great monument, right? So we use the article over here. And again the Red Fort, the Charminar, like this. And rule 18 is before the names of rivers. Rivers means, for example, like the Ganga, the Yamuna, like this. And before the names of oceans, for example, like the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, like this. And before the names of seas, like the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, etc. And before the names of, you can say, before the names of streams, gulfs, capes, at the same time deserts. Deserts means like the Thar Desert, the Sahara Desert. And before the names of range of mountains. For example, the Himalaya. And before the names of group of islands, for example, the Andamans, the Lakshadweep, like this. But here we should use the article before a range of mountains but not before a single mountain. For example, we should not use the Everest because Everest is one of the peak in the range of mountains, the Himalayas. So we should not use the Everest. It's not apt to use the Everest. And at the same time, we should not use the article before a single island. The Ceylon means, here the Ceylon is a single island. So we should not use the article before the word Ceylon. Only before the range of mountains and group of islands we can use the article, but not before a single island or single peak or hill. Rule 19. Rule 19 is we should use the article before the unique things. The unique things. For example, the sun rises in the east and the earth is round. Here if you observe the earth, the sun, the moon, these are all the unique things. Before such unique things, we have to use the article. And rule 20 is before political parties. Before political parties, we use the article. For example, the Indian National Congress, the Janata Dal, and the Janasena, like this. And rule 21 is before the names of directions. That is, for example, the east, the west, the north, like this. And before the names of the plural countries. For example, he intends to visit the Netherlands. Here if you observe, the country name is written in plural form. So we use the article before this word. And rule 23 is before the names of nation, community or race. Before the names of community, nation or race. For example, the Indians. It is a nation, it represents a nation. So we use the article here. And the Hindu, the Sikh, like this. And rule 24 is before the word only and the ordinal numbers. For example, this is the only way to solve this problem. Before the word only, we use the article here. And we all know that numbers means we have two types, cardinal numbers and as well as the ordinal numbers. Cardinal numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and the ordinal numbers means first, second, third like this. The first class or the first bench and the third month like this. Before those ordinal numbers, we use the article. And rule 25 is with the comparatives. With comparatives, we use the article. For example, the higher you go, the cooler it is. Here there is a comparison of temperature between the surface of earth and at the height. So in this type of comparatives we can use the article before the adjectives. And again another example is the more you earn, the more you spend. And these are all the rules regarding the use of the article. Up to now, we learned where we should use the article. Now let us learn where we should not use the article. That is, now we learn about the omission of articles. Okay? Omission of the article. Before material nouns, we should not use the article before material nouns in general sense. That is, steel is a precious metal. Here we should not use the steel. If we use the steel, it is wrong. Okay? We should use simply steel is a precious metal. That's it. Let us look into another example. That is, the steel that they use in their country is precious. Here, if you observe, here the material noun steel was made definite by using the phrase that they use in their country. As the steel was made definite, we use the article before this material noun. Okay. Now, the second case is before proper nouns. Before proper nouns, we should not use the article. And the third case is before abstract nouns. Before abstract nouns, in general sense, we should not use the article. For example, honesty is the best policy. As we all know that honesty is, it is what kind of noun? It is abstract noun. It is abstract noun, right? So we should not use the article before the word honesty. But there is a special case in which we use the article before abstract nouns. That is, whenever abstract noun it is qualified by another adjective, then we use the article before those abstract nouns. For example, wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi is famous. Here if you observe, in this case we use the before wisdom because here the word wisdom, it is qualified by the adjective famous. Here, how the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi is, it is famous. Here, the word famous, it qualifies the wisdom. Therefore, we use the article before the abstract noun wisdom. And example is, I can't forget the kindness with which she treated me. Here if you observe, here the kindness is abstract noun. This kindness, it is qualified by the adjective phrase with which she treated me. Therefore, in these two cases, we use the article before abstract noun. Okay, I hope you understood that basically in general sense we should not use the article before abstract nouns, but if the abstract noun is qualified by another adjective, then we use the article before those abstract nouns. And now the rule 4. The rule 4 is, before the names of diseases and languages. For example, I learned Hindi. That's it. You should not use the Hindi here. And I am suffering from dengue. You should not use the dengue, the typhoid, the malaria like this. And now fifth rule is, before the names of father, mother, aunt, uncle, we should not use the article. And the sixth rule is, before the names of games. Before the names of games, we should not use the article. For example, he plays cricket, she plays golf, that's it. We should not use like she plays the cricket, he plays the golf, like this. We should not use before the names of games. And seventh rule is, before the word home, in general sense. Generally, we should not use the article before the word home. For example, she go to home. That's it. Here, the we should not use in general sense. But there is a special case where we should use the article before home. That in case, if the article is preceded or followed by any adjective, then we can use the article before the home. For example, they went to bride's home at 3 p.m. Here if you observe, home. The word home, it is preceded by bride. As it is preceded by bride, the word bride, it qualifies or it describes the word home. In this case, we should use the article before the home. That means they went to the bride's home at 3 p.m. This is a special case where we use the before the word home. And again, another example is, for some years, this was the home of your father. Here also, the home, it was preceded by the word your father. So it describes the word home. So in this case, we use the before the word home. And the eighth rule is, before the days, months, years, we should not use the article. And ninth rule is, before the names of countries and continents and again lakes, we should not use the article. And again, the 10th rule is, before the names of meals also, we should not use the article. And again, before sciences and arts. For example, he likes painting. Here, painting is an art. We should not use the article before the painting as it is art. I hope you all like my explanation. and please subscribe our channel and